everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be doing first for me, which is doing an October recap review of the products that I have tried during the October, or I have tried them now long enough that I will be giving them my full review. And for today's video we actually have quite a good mix of products, so there will be some complexion products, then we will move on to cheek products, then there is some lip products, and lastly there will be the eyes, so there will be a couple of mascaras that I have now reviewed, and lastly we have some palettes. And there are already a couple of products that I have already thrown out of the packaging, so I have used them up, but there will be a picture somewhere in the screen, so you will be able to see which products I am talking about. So first, complexion, and for today's video there are two foundations that I will be talking about. First is a foundation that I have already used up quite a while ago, and I no longer have the bottle of it, but there will be a picture popping up somewhere in the screen. So first, a foundation that I will be talking about is the Lancome Teint Idol Miracle Foundation. And first I have to say that I'm not sure is the foundation I have tried, is it one of their reformulated ones, because I know Lancome has been doing a lot of reformulation on their products, or is it a foundation that was on their older formula. And the shade I used was 010, which I think was Beige Fair or Beige Rose. And I have to say altogether, I really like this foundation. The finish of it was so beautiful. It made my skin look like it was almost perfect. Also, the durability of the foundation was like quite amazing. I've had days when I had a full day of work and then I had actually done a workout after my day and the foundation was still holding on when I washed it off during the evening. I think the price of the foundation, depending where you will buy it, will be somewhere between 40 and 50 euros. So it is a more pricier foundation, but it is not the most expensive higher end foundation, because I know there are also like luxury priced foundations that can be like over 100 euros. So it is still in the more, well, I can't say really 40-50 euros being affordable, but it is not the most expensive ones. The only downside, I would say, that this foundation oxidized on me 2 shades, and it was also turned in a bit of a yellow tone on me. So in the bottle when I bought it from the store, and this was also my mishap that I didn't ask a salesperson to shade match me. So I didn't know before I actually started using it that it will go 2 shades darker once I applied it to my skin. I was able to fix it with a powder, so I'm not gonna hold it against the foundation, and because it's a higher end foundation I would have had the possibility if I wanted to shade match myself before actually making the buying decision. But even though it is something that does oxidize a bit, and also that the undertone wasn't for me, it is still a foundation I would very warmly recommend if you are able to find it where you live. And it is definitely, I think, worth the price, because I think the bottle lasted with me in my use quite long time. So you don't need a lot of the foundation on one usage. Next is a foundation that I actually have here with me now and that I have been wearing lately. So here is the NYX. I believe this is advertised as skin tint, but for me this is definitely more of a full coverage foundation. Well, not full coverage, I'm gonna go to that actually now. So first of all, this looks horrible on me. You can't see it on the camera. On camera and on photos, if you've seen them on my Instagram, or if you have watched my reels on YouTube, or most of my videos lately, I have been wearing this on them. So the foundation, it looks fine on camera, but especially if you go very close up to the skin, it's not pretty. For me, it clings to all those dry places that you really don't want your foundation to cling into. Also, the lasting power of it is it's very awful. I think I've had, in worse days, it was so that after a couple of hours of usage, it was already starting to break here in my chin area and also in the nose area where the foundation usually starts breaking. And it's just not a favorite. I'm quite glad that I did get some discount of it, because NYX here in Europe is actually, for a drugstore brand, quite expensive. So full price, I think it would have been somewhere around 14 or 15 euros. But anyway, not a recommendation from me. I don't know if you have a very oily skin, would this work on you, but if you have a normal skin, or especially if you have a dry skin, my skin is a more of a normal combo skin, but if you particularly have a drier skin, I would not recommend the NYX foundation, because it just clings to all those places you don't want to, and also the lasting power of it is very poor. A next complexion product that I have, it's also a NYX product, so I finally managed to dig out this one. So this is the NYX Marsh Mellow Primer, and how should I say this? It smells nice. It has this very sweet artificial marshmallow scent. If you are scent sensitive, then perhaps don't buy this. The scent does disappear once you apply it, but it is still quite prominent when you take it out of the pump. But for me, my biggest issue with this, that I don't know, does it do really anything? I have used this in combination with the NYX foundation that I showed previously, but I don't think it really does anything. So yeah, I can't really say is it bad or good, because I just can't really see a difference if I have used that under the foundation or if I have not used that under a foundation. So for me, it's kind of those meh products. I mean, it smells nice. I suppose it does do a bit of color correcting, but other than that, even that effect is quite minimal. So the marshmallow primer, even though the packaging is quite fun and I don't mind the marshmallow scent, I quite like it. But at the end of the day, if the primer really doesn't do anything, then I can't really say, is it something you should spend your money on? Because if you spend the money on primer, then you would expect that it does something. So unfortunately, also the NYX primer is something that I wouldn't personally recommend getting. But comment down below that if you have tried the primer, then has it worked for you, or what do you think it does on your skin? Next, I will be going through two concealers. So first is a concealer that I don't have with me, so you will be seeing a picture somewhere on your screen, and it's the Sephora Collections, and now I have to look at my notes. Best Skin Ever Glow Concealer, and the shade that I used was 2022, so it was the shade that was for the cool rosy undertone, and it was actually one of the best concealer matches I have had in terms of my skin tone, so definitely it had that going for it. And altogether, I would say that if you live in a country that has a Sephora and you haven't tried the concealer, and if you especially like a concealer that has a bit of a, it wasn't super glowy, which is good, because also if the products are very glowy, they don't suit my skin type. However, if you're looking for this medium coverage concealer that's also not too drying under the eyes, then this is definitely a concealer recommendation from me. And I think the lasting power of it was very good. I didn't notice that it creased awfully. You will have to set it with a powder, but it wasn't something that will crease terribly under your eyes. And yeah, I would say a positive surprise, since I haven't tried a lot of products from Sephora Collections, because unfortunately in my country we don't have a Sephora, but definitely something that I thought was worth the money, and because it's a Sephora Collection product, it's relatively affordable considering all the other brands that Sephora sells. So if you are looking for a more full coverage concealer, then this won't be for you. But if you're looking for a good medium coverage concealer that's not too drying under the eyes, then definitely a recommendation. Okay, so next, another perhaps a more drugstore priced product that unfortunately I'm not too happy about. So this is the W7 Oh So Sensitive, I believe Eyes or something was the name of this. And this has a bit of an odd formulation. So it initially, when you apply it to the skin, it feels even a bit oily or even a bit of slippery under eyes. It's a very strange kind of concealer to apply. However, this sets down as a quite dry looking concealer. And I'm a person who's already approaching their 30s, so I can't really use anymore these very full coverage, full-on matte concealers. And also because the name sort of implied that this would be somehow suitable for sensitive under eyes, so I of course assumed this would be a more sort of this glowy hydrating concealer. But like I said, it's quite strange because it feels quite slippery when you initially apply it, but it sets down to a quite of a matte finish. So because of quite the odd formulation, it's something that it's not for me and I didn't like it, but perhaps if you want a more matte finish, and especially since W7 is so affordable, then perhaps it's something that you should look into that could you get, because I think for someone looking for a matte finish and an affordable concealer, the W7 would actually be quite good. And also I think the lasting power of it is quite well, but because it has been this more sort of an oily initial application, you will have to put a powder on it, because I noticed immediately that if I didn't powder under my eyes, it did gather on your creases. So that is also why it's a bit strange that at the same time it sets quite matte, but it also creases quite badly if you don't powder it. And for the cheek product section, I have actually only 2 cheek products, and these are the products that I have actually managed to try from the new Catrice Fall 2023 edit. And the first one is a duo, so it's this one. So this is called Love at First Swipe is the name of this. They have 2 shades of this. There is the one with I think a more reddish blush, but I got the one with the pink and the golden light gold highlighter. And I would say that if you're looking for this, if you're still riding the pink blush Barbie train and you're looking for an affordable bright pink blush option, then I think this is actually quite good. I actually have this, I'm wearing it today. And it's a good formula. I mean, generally Catrice powder cheek products, I haven't still found a dud. All the products that I have tried from the brand have worked for me. So this is a very good drugstore option. And also the highlighter, I think it's a nice highlighter. It's nothing like spectacular, but it's a good highlighter. And like I said, for those looking for the bright pink blush at a more affordable price, this is another good option for you to think about. And the next Catrice one was this. So this was the Glowlights highlighter from the same fall edit release that they came out with. And I think for me, this is not gonna be my absolute favorite. There's nothing wrong with the formula itself. However, this is a very toned down highlighter. So if you're looking for this more sort of a toned down, smooth highlighter look, then this could be something to look into. But I do like that I'm no longer... I think when I was in my early 20s, I also went through the very blingy highlighter phase. I'm also quite over that because, like I said, I'm approaching my 30s, so even my skin, if it's a very sparkly highlighter, it's starting to look quite bad. But I do want my highlighter to have this sort of like shine on it, so I do want it to show up, so I can actually like swatch this with my finger. And I think you can see that it's very subtle, so it's if you're looking for a more subtle highlighter, then this could be a good option from the drugstore, but not a favorite, I think, from the fall edit products that I bought from them this year. From the lips, I actually have only one product to show you, and it's this one. So this is the gloss from the Oden's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist collaboration, and this is the shade Spectral, which was the more mauve gloss, and I'm gonna take it out of the tube so you will be seeing a bit how the shade looks. And this is a shade that if you have watched any of my recent reels, I have been wearing this a lot, and this is definitely one of the... I'd say this is even like a favorite above the palette that I got, which we will be seeing in this video later. And why this I think ranks so highly for me amongst all the products that I'm reviewing in this video is because I have been waiting for a long time to Oden's Eye come out with a gloss. They have had these sort of like traditional bullet lipsticks, and they have had like liquid lipsticks. And also their shades have been very these sort of like bright orange and red tones, and amongst all of their lip products previously. So when I saw that Angelica came out with lip products, there were I think 5 or 6 altogether, and one of those lip products was a gloss, and it was actually a more mauve toned gloss instead of being like something very reddish based that usually the brand's lip products have been. So I immediately knew that I wanted to get the gloss and get the feel of the formula and see how it was, and the formula is very nice. I would say that if you are still able to get the gloss, then definitely buy it if you are planning to buy something from the collection. And I'm really hoping that Oden's Eye would actually do now more glosses, because they clearly do have a good formula for it. And the gloss is a bit opaque, so you will get some color, and I believe I think Angie said in her, like, when she showed the products that it's supposed to leave a bit of a tint behind. And I do agree that you will, when the gloss has worn off, there is a like bit color left on your lips. But of course, because it is still a gloss, you do have to reapply it during the daytime. But like I said, I really like it, and I hope we will see more glosses from Oden's side, because I do think that their other lip formulas have been very good, and this continues that good formulation. For the mascaras, there are two mascaras that I will be discussing today, and the first one is also a product that I no longer have, so there will be a picture somewhere again. And this is the W7 More Lashes Mascara, and I'm feeling a bit bad because there are genuinely like quite a lot of products from W7 that I have liked, and they do make some very good affordable alternatives for like more expensive products. However, the More Lashes Mascara, which I think is supposed to be duping the Benefit, it's not Batgirl Bang, it's Rollo Lash, I believe, is what they're duping. And the wand and the packaging do look quite similar to the Benefit mascara. However, for me, this really didn't do anything. The only thing that I really liked about it is that I did like how the wand, because it did separate the lashes quite nicely. However, unfortunately, the formula was just something that it coated the lashes, but it really didn't give me any length, nor did it give me any volume. So unfortunately for me, the W7 More Lashes Mascara, it just wasn't it, and I think there are better drugstore alternatives, which is actually something I will be discussing next. So next, a bit of a surprise, and this is the mascara that I'm wearing, and this is a good drugstore mascara. If you want a mascara, so this is the Maybelline Falsies Surreal Extensions Mascara waterproof version. I will discuss about the waterproof part a bit later. But generally, if you're looking for a mascara that's gonna give you lashes that have both volume and length, then this is definitely a recommendation. There are a few things, and I will also say that my favorite drugstore mascara ever is the it's the Essence Lash Princess Mascara, because that gives me separation, it gives me length and volume, and the brush, because it is more like this triangle brush, it also allows me to work the mascara easier in the eye. So perhaps the first thing that has a bit going against it, and I think you should be aware of if you're considering buying this, so the wand looks like this, and it is a more like thicker wand, and this is a clumping mascara, so if you don't like a clumping mascara, then this won't be working for you. And the second thing that you should be aware of is, and something that I am a bit concerned about, and I will be getting back at some point if I feel that it's something that you should be aware of, is that the formula, when you first time open the mascara, it is more drier formula. And for example, the reason why the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, which was and I think still is a favorite for the many. For example, the Lash Paradise mascara was something that I really disliked, because the formula dried out so quickly that the mascara ended up being good like only for like 3.5 weeks. I couldn't get even a full month's use out of it. So because the Maybelline formula is a bit dry, I do have some concerns that whether or not that it will last, because I don't reopen mascaras until I have used up my old ones, and I do think 2 months is something that the mascara should last in a regular use. So if you don't like a clumping mascara or a more drier mascara formula, then the Maybelline one is not for you. But if you don't mind either of those things, then this is a very good drugstore mascara, and it does really give great lashes to you. However, regarding the waterproof claim that the mascara has, I don't exactly agree with that. For me, the mascara does flake during the daytime, and there was one day that it was a bit more rainy, so I did notice that there was smudging under my eyes. You won't get panda eyes with it, but the waterproof claim, also I am able to quite easily get the mascara removed with the eye makeup removing products that I use on a daily basis. So the waterproof claim, take it with a grain of salt. For me, it's not one of those that will last super well if you end up swimming with it, or if you end up with just hit by a heavy rain shower. So something you should be aware of, and maybe tread cautiously if you are buying this for the waterproof claim. But if we forget that, then altogether it's a very great mascara, and it's very great that we have these more affordable mascara options from the drugstore. lastly, to the fun part, which are the eyeshadow palettes, which are also like my personal favorite thing from makeup to review. Firstly, let's take out the first palette, and this is it. So this is the Oden's Little Ghost palette. So from the Angelica Nyqvist second collaboration with Oden's I bought the Little Ghost and I bought the Spectral gloss. I didn't get the Trick or Treat palette because I have the Merry Christmas palette from Oden's last year, so I felt that the color story were too close. But the Little Ghost one, I think this was something unique on its own so that is the reason why I chose it. And altogether I'd say that for me this won't be, because I come from a country where we don't celebrate Halloween. It's not really a thing here. We do get the like candies and all sort of like Halloween accessories, but it's not really a celebration here. But regarding like this, I think this will be more of a spring summer palette for me because of the color story. So we have some pastel shades and we have some of these brighter shades. So I think coming spring I will be digging this out again. Altogether, I'd say that there is a very good variety of shades here. So we have some of these more traditional like opaque sparkles. This one is a multichrome down here which shifts to orange to pink and gold, and it's a very nice multichrome. And then there's this sort of Boo, which is the more sort of pink blue shifting topper shade. Regarding the mattes, for me all the mattes work very well except for the Little Ghost, which is this dark purple. So this is something that unfortunately doesn't blend, so you either have to do so that you set it on your corner of the eyelid if you want to use it to darken your look, but you just have to be aware of it that it's gonna just then stay there. The only way I have gotten this to work as a more of a sheer base was that I gently took a more fluffier brush and then I gently tapped it along my lid, and then I used this to try this more paler purple shade to try to like clean out the edges. So just so you're aware, the Little Ghost, this shade, it is more finicky and it does stay quite well in place once you apply it to your lids. But regarding all the other darker and lighter shades, mattes, they all blend very well, and they are the, for me, good Oden's eye quality that I have come to expect from the brand. So altogether, congratulations Angie from another great collaboration with the brand, and definitely if you're looking to buy this and you like the color story, then I would warm-heartedly recommend it. The next palettes I'm just gonna go through very shortly because I do have actually an individual video review from them on my channel. So the two palettes that I'm discussing about are these two. So the Pat McGrath holiday palettes, the Lunar Nightshade and the Starstruck Splendour. And let's start with this one. So as I said in the review video regarding the Quint, the purple matte doesn't work out. The two silver shades, here you will be able to see them. So the middle shade, the purple, doesn't work out, and I'm a bit mad about it because it's the only matte in the palette. And these two silver shades look very similar. However, all the shimmer formula here work quite well. So that was my sort of thoughts about the Quint. Now regarding the bigger palette, the Starstruck Splendour, which is a quite hard thing to pronounce if English is not your first language. So like I said in the full review of the palette, the two blushes are my favorite thing about this, and I already own the one blush in an individual. This shade is actually something new in my collection, so that's a positive for it. Regarding the eyeshadow shades themselves, the mattes work very well, no issues there, also the shimmers. But I'd say still that if you have a lot of Pat McGrath palettes in your collection, you should really consider that do you need either of the palettes from the holiday collection. However, I'm still happy I got them. And like I said, if we forget the matte issue in one of the Quints, the quality is still there and they are like very solid Pat McGrath products, but just look through your collection before making the buying decisions. Next palette is here. So this is the BeautyBay Rich palette in the 16 pan edition. So just like with other BeautyBay palettes, they came out with a 42 pan edit, the 16 pan edit, which is this one, and then a 9 pan edit, which I believe only has matte shades. So this is what it looks like. And about this one, so I have now tried this for 2 weeks. I have done quite also several reels with this. And I think I could sum this up that it's a very one-trick pony, even though this has 16 shades in it. However, you will most of the time end up with this sort of deep reddish burgundy look on your eyes. So just something that you should be aware of, that there isn't a lot of versatility in this. The shimmer quality is very nice. There are these more shinier shimmers, and then there are a few of these more sort of satin shimmers. However, I do actually like these satin shimmers because they are darker, so I can actually use these also as deepening up shades. But because all the tones of this are very same, you will just get quite similar looks, even though this has 16 shades. And I also think that I'm quite happy that I didn't get the bigger 42 pan version of this, because I think with that the issue would still have been very similar, that the looks will be similar. But anyway, it's still, I'd say, as a color story, it does serve a purpose in my collection. I don't have this sort of a burgundy toned palette in my collection, so I am happy to have this, and there will be times that I will be reaching for this, but as I said initially, it's a very one-trick pony. Last product of the video, so it is the Adept Cosmetics Samarian Sunset, and I got mine on Monolith Shop's stock. I believe it was the September, yeah, because they recently had the October launch, so I got this on their September launch, and this is the beauty. And I'm very happy that I got this palette. If you are planning to get this, I do believe Adept is planning to restock this in the beginning of next year. I don't know will Monolith Shop be restocking this, because they actually did have this restocked in the recent October launch. I do believe that this has also sold out on Monolith, but if you're still wanting to get this, I think Adept might have said on their Instagram channel that they are still doing a restock of this in January. But this is inspired by Star Trek, and I'm not a Trekkie, so I don't know how this is accurate. This is in terms of the color story, but the colors are beautiful. And what I appreciated is that you can almost use it as a standalone palette. Unfortunately, the two light mattes down here are a bit of a Dutch shade, so even with a fair skin tone like mine, I have trouble getting them to show up. But with more trying out, I have managed to get the more darker mattes to work for me. And the shimmers are very beautiful, and Adept already had quite a good formula, but they had managed to up their formula yet again. The only downside, aside from the two lighter mattes being not really showing up, is that some of these shimmers are the more creamier formula, and unfortunately with my eyelids, some of them do crease quite a lot, particularly if you're wearing them through a very long day. So that is just something that you should be aware of, that some of the shimmers, not all of them, because this has a variety of shimmer formulas, just like their other palettes. So some of the more creamier shimmers that this has, those might not last on your eyes through the whole day. But still, even with its flaws, it is still a very beautiful palette, and I don't regret a bit that I spent the money on this, because it is just very beautiful, and you can't beat the Adept sort of multi and duochrome shades. And also the packaging is very, very sleek but very beautiful, this sort of orange pink ombre effect that it has on it. So those were all the products. There was quite a lot. I'm very happy if you made it to the end. Comment down below what did you thought about the products that I featured today, and comment what were your favorite products during the October to use. If you like the video, then press the like button, subscribe to the channel, also ring the bell if you want to get notifications for my new videos, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Have a good day everyone, bye bye!